watch this?
How?
Ew,
How do you watch this?
Dude, I'm gonna pee my pants.
Hi, you're listening to How Do You Watch This, a movie review podcast where each week we recommend a movie to our best friend
In the whole wide
genre-
world.
in the whole besties for life. A movie in the genre we love and they don't. My name's Megan and I love romance.
My name is Demi and I love horror.
And this week I recommended for Demi The Princess Bride, which completes our storybook theme.
Vibes. Yep.
Vibes, yeah. So no, that's what I meant. Storybook vibes theme.
Yep.
No,
so
not
if you
even
haven't
theme. That's not
guessed
the
it,
word. It's common
Thread.
thread. Got it.
Common
got it.
thread.
We've
Yep,
only
we're
been doing
good.
this for 6 months, 7 months.
Yeah, it's fine.
Or-
But yeah, we are doing this romance week, and
the best.
any words? before
Any
I
words?
start?
Words of wisdom. Prepare yourselves. I am very interested to hear your thoughts.
Mhm.
I say that every week, but this one especially because I'm just always interested to hear your thoughts about everything, to be completely
thank
honest.
you.
But I can't believe you have never seen this one. And as I was rewatching it yesterday, I was like, oh my god, it's so iconic.
Yeah.
Like it's just such a cult classic. And so I'm wondering how a cult classic will do in your eyes. It's almost like, because I watched cult classic Carrie and it made me want to remove my eyeballs from my own head.
Well,
So-
I think cult classic comedies, I
Mhm.
think, hit a little better than other cult
Classic
classics.
horrors, maybe.
Maybe, yeah. Cult classic
Yeah.
horrors are definitely based on personality, because
Yeah.
there's some cult classic horrors where I'm like, maybe
Yeah.
not. But Carrie is genuinely good, though. So,
Okay, I mean, to each their own. So,
but The Princess Bride, I
Mhm.
knew quite a bit about it. Like, I've seen some
Okay.
scenes and stuff, so it wasn't completely new to me, but there was
Right.
enough of it where it surprised me and made me laugh and stuff. So
okay.
Brett also watched this with me.
Oh, Travis
And-
watched it with me, and he had never seen it.
Yeah, Brett was the same as me. Like, he knew of it and seen some stuff, but never fully watched it.
Okay,
So it
surrounded
was
by a bunch of
uncultured.
swine.
We're all cultured now, though, so that's
yeah,
nice.
no, it's your timing for my birthday.
Yeah,
to
just
be
in
able to
time.
reference. Yeah.
So the genre was fantasy comedy, I
Yeah,
guess.
there's like a bunch of but I was like looking online. They're like it features like every whatever
adventure,
adventure, romance,
horror, maybe a little bit.
uh,
A little bit.
oh yeah, I could see it. I could
Yeah,
see it.
yeah. Fire Swamp. So scary.
Yeah, so scary. It's so scary with those
RUSs.
Yeah.
RUOs. Okay, so the director was Rob Reiner, and he directed quite a bit of good stuff and had quite the diverse movies. I was a little surprised with some of them. He directed When Harry Met Sally, he directed Misery, and he directed A Few Good Men. The one
We
with
should
Demi
just do
Moore.
a Rob Reiner.
I know. It was
common
like
thread.
I was like surprised. I'm like, oh, okay. He's got range.
He does. He does.
Because like watching this, I'm like, this feels like a Mel Brooks type of movie. And so I was curious who the director
What is Mel Brooks?
He did like Spaceballs and
Okay.
Blazing Saddles and like very parody movies, but
Yeah,
like
yeah,
the
yeah.
humor was very much the same. So I was curious.
And I was wondering too, because it's a very distinct style of humor in this movie.
Yeah.
Where I was like, is this just like what 80s comedy movies?
Yeah, the humor was just like, I don't know, quirky.
It was really quirky, and it did not take itself very seriously.
No,
so,
not at all.
Yeah.
And this movie was released in 1987. And my attempt at a snapshot is
Right,
a grandfather reads the story of the Princess Bride to his grandson, where a beautiful princess named Buttercup gets kidnapped and thrown into an adventure including a giant, a masked pirate, and a Spaniard fencer looking for revenge.
Okay.
So,
That's good.
That
That was a
was
good
the-
one.
that was the
yeah,
gist of
it's
it.
hard. There's a lot that happens in the movie
yeah.
in a
And-
very short amount of time.
Yeah.
hour and 38 minutes, I think.
It was, yeah, there was a lot of plot lines.
Yeah.
But it didn't feel, I don't know, I guess it didn't feel too short, you know?
Yeah. It felt like a complete
Or too
story.
stuffed with shit.
Right.
So, okay. So, my notes.
All right, let's hear them. I have so many facts, and I feel like a
perfect.
better researcher, right? Like a better researcher would have read some of the novels or watched some of the documentary things, but there has been so much written and recorded
I'm
about
sure.
this. And instead I went, The Princess Bride fun facts.
Top 10 trivia. It's like BuzzFeed top 10.
Yeah, pretty much.
Perfect.
Pretty much. And then I deep dived on one thing, and I will tell you that thing that I deep dived on later.
Now I'm excited for all the extra little details. So
yes,
I'll try to run through this. The movie opens and we see a young boy playing a baseball video game. So this was not how I thought it was going to start. And he is apparently sick, and his mom informs him that his grandfather is there to see him. This brat isn't interested in seeing his grandfather.
No, what?
Yeah, because he said his grandfather's gonna like pinch his cheeks and stuff. I'm like, okay, well, that's your grandpapa.
You got to deal with the pinched cheeks, bro.
Yeah, you got to deal with it. I don't know what to tell you. So the grandfather comes into the room anyway. He has a gift, and the gift is a book that has apparently been read from father to son for years and years. And so he starts reading the story, and that's where the main plot begins. So then it switches over to like a fantasy fairy tale kind of vibe, and we meet Buttercup, which is a fantastic name for that time. I can't imagine meeting a child now named Buttercup. But it works in this story. You know someone named Buttercup?
No. I don't know someone named Buttercup, but I would be 0% surprised to meet a child named Buttercup.
That's very fair.
Yeah.
So she is a beautiful young lady played by Robin Wright. Right?
Yes. Right.
Who you may know from various movies. She is that baddie in the Wonder Woman movie. That's how I know her.
Oh, really?
Yeah, the fighter woman.
Oh, I didn't realize.
There.
That's how I don't know her. I know her from The Princess Bride.
Yeah. And then we meet farm boy Wesley.
Oh, by the way, sorry.
Yes.
I'm going to interrupt you first with your first fun fact.
Yes, please do.
Over 200 actresses auditioned to be Buttercup, including but not limited to Meg Ryan and Whoopi Goldberg.
Okay, wow.
Yeah.
That's quite... Meg Ryan, I think, she was too popular at the time.
Yeah.
She was in everything. She's great, but...
Which was she? Well, I think she was at the budding in her career in 87. But I think that Robin Wright does bring like a sort of ethereal princessy vibe to it.
Yeah, she has a very, I don't want to say unique face, but a very like not soft face. She's very beautiful, but she's got very strong features. Yeah. And I like that, you know? Yeah. It's a little different. And she's supposedly the most beautiful woman in the world. So. Of course. And then we meet Wesley, who's played by Carrie Elwes. And I was like, why does he remind me of the Men in Tights movie? This movie reminds me of Men in Tights. It's the same guy, so literally the same face, like the same little mustache. So yeah, that's just
I do hate that mustache.
I think the mustache, you can only pull it off if you're Antonio Banderas. If you're not Antonio Banderas, you cannot pull off the tiny little or Gomez from Addams Family.
Right. It was like mildly inspired by Zorro, but
okay. It felt very Zorro, but I'm like, he's blonde. He's very cute.
Yeah,
but
like,
he's blonde.
Yeah. And I feel like, remake it today and have him have a beard.
Yeah. Make
rugged,
him
a little 5
or
o'clock
just a 5 o'clock. Yeah, 5
yeah,
o'clock.
That'd be good.
Yeah,
but
I'll take that.
The creepy little caterpillar mustache, not
it was
my
definitely
thing.
It was definitely a vibe. I didn't hate it, but I was like, ugh.
No, I would still like let him rescue me.
Yeah, right. It matches like his theme they're going for, like the pirate Zorro type of look. So
yeah,
it works. Anyway, Buttercup.
Sorry, we haven't even gotten 2 minutes into this freaking movie.
Oh, it's just like Sleepy Hollow all over again. We literally talked about Johnny Depp for like maybe 30 minutes. It was crazy. So, Buttercup
deserved it, but yeah,
he did deserve it. She loves to basically boss Wesley around and telling him to do different chores, and he would always respond as you wish. And I turned to Brett and I'm like, this is how you need to respond to me when I boss you around. No questions, nothing asked, just say as you wish and go from there. So we'll see if he learns that next time I boss him around.
Travis, I keep making him like, when we watch these romances, I'm like, look at this. Like, this is iconic. So I did that to the Pride and Prejudice hand scene and to the As You Wish. And so today, like, he's talking to me and I asked him to do something and he's like, as you wish. And he does like the hand thing at the same time. He's just like morphing himself into this Frankenstein romance character. Like, stop, I can't take you seriously.
Please separate it. Pick one or the other. Oh my god. Anyway.
Sorry. Okay, carry on.
So whenever he says as you wish, it's pretty much his way of saying I love you. And Buttercup one day realizes that she loves him too. And they totally become official. But unfortunately, Wesley is a broke bitch. So he decides to leave the farm in order to gain riches to properly marry Buttercup. I don't know why they didn't leave together.
Right, I guess, well, it wouldn't have been kosher, maybe. I don't know. This is a fairy tale land, though. They have different rules.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
She was just like a commoner chick. Like
she was. For some reason in my memory, I was like, oh, I was thinking of her as Princess Buttercup.
Yeah.
But then she starts off as a commoner and she.
Right. Yeah, so I don't know. But whatever. I guess gentlemanly like, he's like, I'm going to go get enough money to marry you. So he leaves. Buttercup eventually gets word that the ship he was on was attacked by the dread pirate Roberts, and everyone knows that he leaves no survivors. So Buttercup is now completely heartbroken, and she will never love again, which is fair. So 5 years later, it's announced by Prince Humperdinck, which Lord Farquaad had to be based off this guy.
Oh
There's
my
no
god,
way.
he has.
Oh
to
my
have
god.
Oh, I should have thought to look it up.
It had to be. It had to be. I'm like, there's no way for Lord Farquaad was not based off this dude.
Yes.
And he announces that he will be marrying Buttercup, so she is now officially a princess.
Right. And so in the book, it goes into it more. So I guess in the book, basically, he can't marry a commoner, but he wants to marry her. And so he makes her the princess of of a non-existent country. So he makes her a fake princess.
Because I was like, damn, I guess I just assumed she was now being the princess because they were engaged. So I'm like, I guess.
Right.
But
no,
that's funny.
He worked around some things.
Some things.
Yeah.
All right. So she obviously doesn't love the prince, but they're engaged now. And she spends a lot of her time out riding her horse. And on one of these rides, she gets approached by a trio of the most random looking men. And I literally like cackled out loud the second they showed them because they were just so funny to look at.
They're just goofy as hell.
We're a traveling circus. And they're faking it and they end up kidnapping Buttercup. And they take her to a boat. Yes.
But they're played by some iconic characters.
Yes.
So you've got Andre the Giant.
Yep.
You've got Mandy Patinkin and Wallace Shaw. Very, very iconic. Like, if you don't know them based on the names I've just said, just look them up and you're going to be like, that's the face. All right.
Yeah. Yeah. So the kidnappers include Vizzini, who's Wallace Shaw, and he's a small man who loves to say the word inconceivable. Yeah. Inigo Montoya is the Spaniard after my own heart, and he is the master fencer. Probably the most iconic character. If you know anything about this movie, you're going to know about this guy.
Hello, my name is Inigo Montoya.
Yeah.
I killed my father, prepared to die.
Exactly. And then Fezzik, a giant, played by Andre the Giant, of course. And their plan, well, mostly Vizzini's plan, is to kill Buttercup and make it look like the other kingdom did it so that a war could be started between the two kingdoms. So Fezzik and Inigo are hired by him, and they don't actually want to kill Buttercup, but they participate in the kidnapping anyway. They start sailing away, and they notice a ship is following them. And so they're trying to get away from the ship, and they reach the cliffs of insanity, and they start scaling this wall.
Yes.
So they start climbing the wall, and it's pretty much just Fezzik, the giant, carrying all of them. on his
Yes.
body and just pulling up this rope.
By
And-
only his arms.
Yeah,
Like,
and you just see his
insane.
legs.
His
and
legs are
then-
just dangling, yeah.
The masked man, as we'll call him, starts climbing up as well. And this scene was just like so funny because it just shows him back and forth and it goes on forever. Like
Yes.
they're climbing so long and Vizzini's just complaining the whole time.
Yeah.
And Fezzik's like, well, it's just me carrying all of you up.
Right.
Like I can't go that fast. So they eventually make it to the top.
Hold on, I've got another
Mhm.
fun fact for you.
Okay.
Okay. So Shaw, who played Vizzini,
Yeah.
he had major fear of heights.
Oh,
And so
no.
when they filmed that scene, the whole time, Andre, the giant who played Fezzik, was
Mhm.
just like patting his head and saying, "I'll were you safe the whole way up."
They they actually climb? They weren't climbing, right?
They weren't. He didn't actually climb because he actually has, after his years of wrestling,
Mhm.
Andre the Giant. I can't pronounce. I don't know his last name. It's like a long last name, so I'm just
Yeah.
gonna keep calling him his wrestling name. Andre the Giant, after all the years of wrestling, really messed up his back. So
Yeah.
for a lot of the scenes, he actually had body doubles because
Oh, wow, okay.
he couldn't even do the one fight scene.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
But yeah, so he wasn't actually climbing it or
Yeah.
anything like that. But they were. I'm assuming they were like hoisted
Some sort
or
of
something up,
height. Mhm.
and in that process, he was soothing. He was being very
Aw,
soothing.
That's very nice of it.
You know, what a bud.
He's very sweet in the movie, a very sweet character.
Yeah.
So they eventually reach the top, and Vizzini cuts the rope to try and get the masked man to fall. But fortunately, the masked man
Yes.
holds on to the wall, so he's not actually
Mhm.
falling. And this man, he's Wesley. You know it's
Yes.
him, but he's
So you knew in
disguised.
that moment you were shook. You were like, "Oh,
Yeah.
there we go, my hero."
It's obvious who this man is, but he's in all black, and it's kind of like piratey. He's got a bandana, and then he's got this black mask. So he's holding onto the wall, and Vizzini tells Inigo to kill him while they continue forward. So Inigo is a master fencer, and he takes pride in his skills, so he ends up helping up Wesley on the rope rather than try to kill him immediately because he wants like a fair fight. So he lets him catch his breath and everything. And while he's doing this, he asks if he has 6 fingers. So funny. And he's like, my father was murdered by a man with 6 fingers. And it's such a stupid joke. But he's been looking for this man for 20 years.
Yes.
And when he finds him, he will say, hello, my name is Inigo Montoya. You killed my father. Prepare to die. So he has this all prepared. And he even has like scars from when the man, pretty much, he tried to fight the guy. He was 11 years old. The guy scarred him, let him live. And so now he's like, well, I'm going to find this dude and kill him because I've been training. So after they have a nice discussion and they're like, I don't want to kill you. He's like, then don't. But they have to fight anyway. So they're having a fairly equal fight, and Inigo is fighting with his left hand, and he goes, I have to tell you something. I'm not left-handed. And he switches and he starts fighting. And Wesley's like, I have to tell you something. I'm also not left-handed. And switches his hand too. And it's just so stupid. But Wesley does defeat him. And instead
that
of
whole scene
Mhm.
was the actual actors. They spent
really,
countless hours. They watched
Wow.
every action scene that they could. They worked with the people who did the choreography for the fight scenes in
Mhm.
Star Wars, the original 3.
okay, yeah.
And I guess they showed the director their
Mhm.
like choreographed scene that they
Right.
put together, and he was not impressed. He was like, I want that 3 times longer. So then
It
they
was
had-
a long fight.
It was a long fight. So it was 3 minutes and 10 seconds.
Wow.
So they had to they added in all this extra stuff, and that's where
Yeah.
the gymnastics.
Yeah,
At
the
one
flip.
point, he's like flipping over a bar and stuff. It's nuts. But that was all them. There was no.
Wow. That's
Yeah.
really cool. It was a really good fencing fight. I was like, oh,
Yeah.
this is pretty cool to watch. So that's very impressive. So the masked man, Wesley, defeats him, Inigo, and knocks him out. He doesn't kill him. So eventually he reaches Fezzik, and Fezzik says he wants just a hand-to-hand combat.
Yeah.
And Wesley's like, I don't think that's fair, but okay. So they're trying to fight, and he ends up jumping on Fezzik's back.
Mhm.
And while he's on his back, he ends up managing somehow to choke him out.
Yeah.
And that's the only way he was able to beat him, pretty much. And he knocks him out, leaves him there. He keeps going, and he runs into Vizzini and Buttercup. And Vizzini has
For some
He's-
reason.
some
who knows
reason
why.
lunch laid out. He's
Yeah.
like wine, 2 goblets, and some cheese and shit.
Yeah.
And Buttercup's masked. I guess he was preparing for this moment. I
Yeah.
don't know. But it's funny. So Wesley comes up to him and Vizzini's like, I don't want to fight physically. My mind is what I'm known for. And so Wesley's like, okay, so we'll do that then. So he takes the wine, puts it into the 2 glasses, and say he's gonna put poison in one of them.
Oh yeah, okay, sorry.
Yeah.
I jumped ahead. I was like, no, Demi, he didn't put wine in the glasses.
I took time writing my notes, Megan. I prepared it a certain way.
Okay, you're very professional. I'm sorry.
The most important part of the scene. I think I'm gonna forget it.
They drank wine and
Suddenly. So he puts poison in one glass and says which one has the poison. And so Vizzini's trying to say like, well, a smart man would think that it's the one in front of me, but then you would have thought that I thought that and you thought that, and like he's just thinking, and Wesley's like, you're stalling. And so Vizzini is like, okay, he tricks Wesley to look away and he swaps the goblets, and then they both drink from their cups, and then Vizzini's like, I forget, my god. How did I forget
It's
that?
something like never challenge a Sicilian in a battle of wits or something like that.
Yeah, because he thought he was slick, thinking that, because he was like, oh, your cup was the one that was poisoned, and Wesley's like, no, and so he was like, ha, I swapped the cups, and you didn't know that, and then he ends up dying.
Yeah.
So then Buttercup's like, how did you know? Why would you take the chance of that? And he was like, oh, I'm immune to poison. I've trained
worked the past
myself.
several
Yeah.
years to become immune to
Yes. So both cups were actually poisoned, and
Yeah.
Vizzini was gonna die anyway.
die no matter what.
Yeah.
I have to say this I think is my most memorable scene. Whenever I
Okay.
think of The Princess Bride,
Yeah.
it's like Vizzini yelling inconceivable
Yes.
and this like battle of wits over poison that he
Yeah.
somehow happens to not be susceptible to.
Nope. It was a good scene, for sure. And so now Wesley, still masked up, has Buttercup, and they're traveling away to get away from the prince who is on the hunt and on their trail after Buttercup. So
and
then,
what you might notice,
yeah.
sorry, there's so many facts. I feel very bad. You keep like starting to get on a roll, and I'm like, blah, 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 blah. Here's something
Wait
that
up.
doesn't matter. A fun fact is that Andre, for whatever reason, needed an ATV to get him to the various shooting locations.
Okay.
And he always wanted to get
Elvis, yeah.
He always was trying to get him to drive it, and so finally he relented. But his first time ever driving it, he hit like some rocks as he was going and ended up getting his foot stuck between the pedal and a rock
Oh my god.
or something, and he ended up breaking his big toe.
Stop.
And he tried to hide it from the director, but obviously couldn't. So
Yeah.
when you watch this scene that you're about to discuss where he's like walking, just him and Buttercup,
Yeah.
he's like limping. And I noticed it when I was watching because
Yeah.
it's like right before they go into the fire swamp. I was like,
Right.
he's kind of hobbling. And I
Yeah.
thought it was because he had injured himself like in scene, but it was like in real life, this man
Wow.
fucking broke his toe because he was driving an ATV.
That's a very interesting, because I
Very
was just
fun
thinking,
fact, I'm
yeah, and I was
sure.
just thinking now, I'm like, he was like hopping a bit.
Yeah.
That's funny. I can't believe he was trying to hide it from the
Yeah.
director.
Nice try.
So they're running off, and at this point he's like still hiding who he is, and he's being kind of like rough with Buttercup, and I'm like, what is this man
I
doing?
hated that part.
Yeah, I'm like, what is happening here? Like, just tell her like who you are.
Right.
And so she's like,
And
I
I think
know
part of it
Mhm.
is like he thought
Right.
that they had true love and that she moved on and was like
yeah.
didn't let their love continue,
Right.
which is
I
like
realized that later, but I'm
Right.
like,
it's still lame. Like he
stupid.
was still being a little aggressive, and I
Yeah.
was like,
like, what's
and I
going
tried to
on
look
here?
things up online to see if maybe there was like some better explanation for it,
Yeah.
but I didn't see anything, and I was like, I guess that's just 87.
Yeah. I guess that's just how it is.
Yep.
But she's basically like, I know that you're the dread pirate Roberts, and that you killed her love, Wesley. And then Buttercup gets upset because he's like, yeah, I remember him. He pleaded for his life and all this stuff. And so they're at this steep, grassy hill. She just tells him to die and pushes him. And he yells, as you wish, as he's rolling violently down.
Very
And so Buttercup realizes who it is. And she jumps too. And I'm like, I'm sure there was a better way to handle this, but it was just such a
First
funny...
of all, also she could have rolled like sideways, where it's like a delicate roll down, or like scooted on your butt or something instead of going head over butt.
It was violent, and I end up pausing the movie at this point for some reason, and it paused where they had the stunt actor.
Stop.
And I'm sending you the photo. I was like, that is not the actor for Wesley.
Why does that man have a goatee?
So that's the look apparently we wanted for him, instead of the mustache.
That is so funny.
It was just so funny.
The stunt actor for... I wish it had been during the stunt actor for her, because it was a stunt actor wearing a wig.
Was it?
Yeah.
I was curious. I'm like, I wonder if her stunt actor's a man. Because they always were in like the 80s and 70s. It was always like a man.
Which I just wish you had managed to pause.
One of my favorite stunt actor like glimpses in a movie is from Flashdance. You ever seen Flashdance? The movie? Like the dancer, and she's trying to get into like a dance academy. It's just I feel
like I've seen it, but it's like the
not... and she's got
that
the leg warmers.
I definitely remember now that you did that little music number. Wow, it's like just whoosh.
Oh, you know what? It's, remember Gremlins? That scene of the gremlin and the little leg warmers dancing at the bar. It's that.
Yes. Now I've got it. Now I've got it.
In that movie, when she's dancing for the judges or the teachers, she starts spinning, and it's literally a man in the outfit spinning, and it's so funny. You can literally
why
like...
they have a man do it?
I don't know. It was always a man.
That
but
makes
like you
no
could
sense.
slow and like step by step, and you see like when it changes.
Stop.
Dude, it's so funny. It's so
my
funny.
God.
So if you ever watch it,
we'll have to do that.
Pause
Yeah.
Yeah, look for it. So anyway, they roll down the hill. They're fine somehow.
Yeah.
They did not break anything.
Yeah, that's when he's like, you can definitely see him hobbling, but you just like blame it on the fall
blame
down.
on the hill.
Yeah.
So, they reunite, and she's so happy. He's happy, but then he's upset with her because she didn't wait for him. And I'm like, bro, she thought you were dead for 5 years. And I'm like, is that why he was upset?
It's definitely what he was upset about, and it's hilarious because she's like, you were dead, and he was like, well, love
death
will
does
find
not
a
stop. Yeah, death does not stop true love. And I'm like, it does though.
Yeah, it does.
When you're gonna be a zombie, like a ghost.
Does. But but foreshadowing,
I guess
death doesn't stop true love.
Yeah, I don't know. I was like, okay, Wesley.
Yeah,
like,
I wasn't. That was not a vibe.
Weird vibes. Weird vibes.
I mean,
don't do that to Buttercup. She's
I was like
a
thinking
precious
to myself,
angel.
and I was like, I can't. I mean, obviously, Travis is not allowed to get married again after I die, but like 5 years feels like a decent amount of time. That's a good amount of time.
I mean, honestly, the difference here is that this is a time where women probably needed a man to survive, right? So if she was going to pick anyone, why not go with a prince who probably just won't care that much anyway, and you got money. So
he knows
she's thinking of herself.
Doesn't love him.
Yeah.
So
it's fine, it's not like she just married the next farm guy. But.
Right.
And then another thing, this might be a little plot hole, I don't know, but I was curious if you knew.
Okay.
Why did he start following them? Was he watching Buttercup? Did he know? Did he just happen to stumble upon him and realize, oh, this is Buttercup?
That's a really good question that I actually don't know the answer to. It probably is, I would assume, is a little bit more described in the book
probably,
yeah, I don't know. They don't.
So you were gone for so long, and now you're suddenly back? How long have you been a pirate for? I'm sure you had money for a bit.
I would assume it's because he knew something, but you know what? Give me 1 second. I'm just going to Google it really quick.
Yeah, I feel like it had to be more explained in the book.
I'm just going to read this random response on Stack Exchange, which I've never heard of before. Okay. According to user Radhill. Okay. In the original novel, Wesley is described as seething over Buttercup's engagement as he watches her before she's kidnapped. His full state of mind isn't really detailed, but his later interrogation of her reveals much. He views her engagement to Humperdinck as a betrayal of their love, disregarding the fact that she thought he was dead and that princes don't really take no for an answer.
Wait, so he was just watching her?
Yeah.
Homie, what
And he
are
was
you
just
doing?
like mad.
Bro, I'm sure he had enough money at this point. Wow.
Yeah. So he just, I guess, maybe he came back. Maybe.
I'm willing to think that he came back at the same time that she happened to get engaged.
Yes.
I'll take that. I'll take that coincidence because it's like a fairy tale. During this reunited love affair situation setting, the prince shows up. And so they decide to run into the fire swamp. And the fire swamp is this very dangerous area that no one likes to go through, but they didn't have any choice.
No one has survived.
That's right. So while they're walking through, there's like fire fucking coming up from the ground. And it's just like this awful woodsy forest.
Yes.
But Wesley tells Buttercup about how he survived. He pretty much said that he did meet Dread Pirate Roberts and that he did say, please, I can't die. I have a love waiting for me. And so the pirate found it interesting and kept him alive. And a few years, he trained him in fencing, all this stuff. And then after a while, Roberts told Wesley about the secret about the name and pretty much that he is not the original Dread Pirate Roberts and that it's actually a name passed down to people when they feel like retiring. They just give it to some other dude to take the title. So that is how Wesley is now the official Dread Pirate Roberts until he passes it to someone else. And so it's at this point where they get attacked by an ROUS rat of unusual size. And Wesley's getting fucked up by this rat. And this is my most deleted scene because this rat's fucking him up. It's a giant rat. Yeah, and Buttercup's just watching.
Yeah.
And obviously she's scared. But I'm like, girl, you thought this man was dead for 5 years and you straight up not gonna do anything to help him?
Because he like dropped his sword. She should have picked it up.
It would have been easy to just pick it up. But then she's just doing nothing. And it's honestly, the scene goes on for too long because it just kind of flashes back and forth. And then the rat starts going after Buttercup and she kind of tries to hit it with a twig, but the rat's attacking her. And I'm like, bro, someone do something here. Like, what's going on? This rat is really just going to murder both.
No. And also, I mean, obviously they survive. And all I could think about was in medieval medicine, he for sure would have gotten an infection and at least lost his arm. But he just like seems impervious. Like his shoulder is fine afterwards.
He was fine, but this rat was biting into him.
Mm-hmm.
And do you have any information on how the rats were done?
Yes.
Was it a man in a suit?
Yes. Yes,
Okay.
it was.
I feel like it
was
to be.
a man in a suit.
That's perfect.
Yes. So there's like a lie. I saw a couple of fun facts and I don't know how accurate they are about the rats in suits. The one I know for sure, apparently the director voiced the rats, so he did the voiceovers for them. I don't know why.
God.
But they were gigantic rat suits, and I guess there were like, I think there were 2 dudes in the suits.
Yeah.
And according to legend, the one guy got pulled over after a night of drinking and thrown in a drunk tank. And they had to bail him out in the morning so that the police officer did not believe that he had to play a giant rat the next day. Definitely thought he was just wasted. So that's one story. And then another story says that one of the guys got in a fight with his wife and burnt down the kennel at their house. Which is like, I'm like, what happened?
Men were just like,
and he had to get bailed out. That's why I'm like, I am not convinced that either of these stories is true. They both sound fake.
Get these men to be the rats.
Right? They just like go to random jails
Actual
and find
vermin on the street.
Right.
They're like, oh yeah, he'd be a good rat.
Right.
Oh my god.
So they were men in rat suits. Yes.
It's great. So this scene just made me mad. I'm like, what is happening here?
Yeah.
But Wesley ends up surviving, obviously, and they end up making it out of the fire swamp, but unfortunately, the prince is there waiting to capture them. So Buttercup ends up surrendering herself as long as they promise not to hurt Wesley, and the prince promises, but once she's away, he's like, tells his main man, yo, throw Wesley in the pit of despair. And then this is where we see that man has 6 fingers. He's got this awful leather glove. And Wesley points out, like, oh, I see you have 6 fingers. And I'm like, oh, you gotta be fucking kidding me. Like, that is so funny. It's probably the funniest joke in the movie.
Oh, it's fantastic.
So after that, Buttercup has a nightmare about marrying the prince, and she realizes that she can't give up on love and that Wesley will come for her. So she tells the prince that she doesn't want to marry him. She loves Wesley, and if you still force her to marry him, she'll be dead by the morning. And so which is, there are multiple times where she's like, I'm just gonna kill myself. And I'm like, Jesus Christ.
Run away? Like,
dude, she was just like, nah, death. Very Romeo Juliet vibes here.
Yes.
So the prince instead is like, how will you write 4 identical letters, and I will send my 4 fastest ships to Wesley, and if he responds, you can go with him. If not, you might as well marry me. Of course, he's a lying piece of shit, but Buttercup doesn't know that. She's like, yeah, this is a deal. Fine.
Yeah. Which by this point, it has been revealed that he wants her dead.
I don't think it had been revealed.
Really?
So you're jumping ahead again, Megan.
No, he definitely turned.
No, I think it was after because I remember he has that discussion with the guy, and then she comes in and she asks if Wesley responded yet.
No, because he have a discussion with his.
It was like that gross looking guy. I mean, it was very close at the same time because I have it written right after.
Oh, okay. Wait, I'm just gonna cut all this out. You go ahead. This never happened. I'm cutting it out. I swear to God, I'm cutting it out.
Why would I not say that another important part of the movie?
I'm trying to have some control over this situation. I have no notes. I only have screenshots of fun facts.
Yeah, stay with the fun facts, Megan.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Okay, well.
So we find out that the prince is actually the one who orchestrated the kidnapping of Buttercup. And
what?
Crazy, I know. Damn it, Megan. He intended to kill her anyway after the wedding and try to blame it on the other kingdom to start a war. I don't know why he wanted to start the war. I guess to just...
In the book.
Okay, thank you, Megan.
You're welcome. So in the book, he was originally engaged to somebody from the other kingdom.
Okay.
And she came to his kingdom one day, and the wind blew, and her wig flew off, and he realized she was bald.
Of course.
Couldn't marry her.
Wow.
And that's how the beef began.
He wants to start war.
Yes.
That's fucked up.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Okay. So then it cuts to Wesley, and he's in this torture chamber, the pit of despair. He's getting wiped down by this albino man. Just really gross looking.
Yeah, he's like carbuncles on his face or something.
Yeah. And he ends up getting strapped to this machine that sucks the life out of you.
Yeah.
And they start at 1, which is 1 year of life. And it's already rough shit.
Yeah.
So this is not a good sign. And then we see at this point that Inigo is all drunk and depressed after losing to Wesley, I assume.
Yeah.
But Fezzik ends up going to him and helping him out and getting him out of his slump and tells him that the 6-fingered man is with the prince, that he saw him. So they realize they won't be able to get into the castle without the help of Wesley because there's 30 guards apparently blocking the door. So they try to find him, and they manage to only find him because they hear screaming so loud from the dungeon because the prince went and sent the torture machine to 50, which is
50
done.
years apparently.
Yeah.
Dead.
So Inigo and Fezzik end up finding the secret compartment to get to the dungeon, and he is dead apparently. So they bring him to someone named Miracle Max.
Yeah.
Who's played by Billy Crystal. And I was trying to think the whole time, like, who is this? I'm like, I know this man. Well, Billy Crystal.
Yes, yeah. Because he's so made up. You can't tell who it is. He's so heavily made up. But then you're like, that voice, what is it about that voice?
And he's just a troll man, old man. He looks tragic.
Yes. He was supposed to be a combination of Billy Crystal, his vision, was it would be a combination of his grandmother and the manager of the Yankees, I think.
What?
I think. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure it was something like out
In
of
that
left
time, Lou Piniella.
No, it was not Lou
I
Piniella.
don't think it was him.
Casey Stengel. It was a former Yankees manager, Casey Stengel. Okay, hold on. Let me bring.
I
this
can see
image.
it.
Oh, you do? Okay.
Yeah, I can see the resemblance.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah. So a combination between Billy Crystal's grandma and this dude.
Oh my god. Well, yeah. So he's very made up, and he apparently used to work for the king, but he got fired by the prince. So he just despises the prince for this. And Inigo tells him that we need this man brought back because he has a love waiting for him, and that doing this would ruin the prince's wedding. And hearing that, Miracle Max was like, well, why didn't you say so? We'll definitely get this man up to boot. And apparently he's not full dead. I don't know what that meant, but
Mostly dead.
Mostly dead, yeah. So whatever that meant, apparently they were able to still bring him back. So he ends up making this giant pill that looks like a chocolate-covered acorn is the best way I can describe it. And he also has a wife that looks like him and looks just like Insane. And so they both work on this pill together. He tells the group that they need to wait 15 minutes before they can give it to Wesley for it to completely work. And of course, they don't do that. No. They go to look at the front gate where all the guards are, and there's like 60 guards. There's not just 30. So they're like, shit, we gotta wake Wesley up. We have to do this now. So they give Wesley the pill, and he does wake up, but he can't move anything. So he's just useless, basically. So they have to think of a plan. They end up using a wheelbarrow that they happen to have, and a dark cloak, which Fezzik had from Miracle Max. He just had it. He was like, it's Mad Max, basically. And so the plan is to put Fezzik in his dark robe, and he's standing on the wheelbarrow, and then they light the robe on fire. Yeah. And he scares the guards away, and it works because he looks terrifying. And then this is all happening during the iconic wedding ceremony, which if you don't know, like, you know, because everyone knows this scene.
You have had to have heard.
I wish I didn't, because if I heard this for the first time, I would be dead. Like, it would have literally killed me because it's so funny. But
it's too much.
It's like the man marrying them, he just has this, I don't know.
Is this inflection? Marriage, true love, everything.
It's just the whole time. I'm like, who thought of this? It's so
He's
funny.
He's apparently inspired by a priest from Chicago who made the author of the book crack up.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's funny. Yeah, it's a great scene. It's probably my most iconic. I think I put it down as my most iconic because it's just so funny.
Yeah, that's a good one.
This is happening, and the prince is rushing through it because he hears things going on outside. He's worried. So he rushes through the wedding, and Buttercup gets rushed to the honeymoon suite, basically. So the group gets inside, and Inigo finally confronts the six-fingered man. He says his line, and the man just starts running away. So then Inigo starts going after him, and the man throws a dagger in his stomach, and it looks bad. I'm like, you gotta be fucking kidding me. And then Inigo gets like an adrenaline kick and just fucks this dude up, and he repeats his line multiple times, and he's just stabbing him, and he really fucks this dude up, and I'm like, thank you, baby. Thank God.
And fun fact,
let me hear it.
All of the wounds that Inigo received is what he gave to the six-fingered man. So the six-fingered man slices both his cheeks and stabs him in the stomach, and he gets both of his shoulders or both his legs. I don't know, something like that. But the six-fingered man gives him 5 wounds, and he only deals 5 wounds to the six-fingered man.
That's
identical to what he received himself.
That's rad. I knew the cheek one, but I didn't notice that's awesome.
The other 3 were also what had just been given to him.
That's rad. So it was a great scene. And then it cuts to the honeymoon suite and Buttercup, and the scene before this just made me laugh. So she's getting led to the bedroom by the king. Yeah. And she kisses him on the cheek, and he was like, oh, what was that for? And she's like, you just been so kind to me. I'm going to kill myself. And the king just goes, oh, okay. Like, she kissed me on the cheek, just ignoring that.
Right.
Oh my
right.
god, that's such a crazy lie.
It's wild.
It's
the
so
way that
unhinged.
she's just so blasé is just like, I'm gonna
Yeah.
die.
Well, that's it for me. So she goes into her room and she is about to stab herself with a dagger.
Yeah.
And then Wesley is in there and speaks up. And she realizes he's there. And she runs to him, but he can't move still. He's on the bed. She's like, why aren't you holding me? And he's like, please be gentle. And then the prince comes in. And I'm like, oh my god, what are they gonna do? And Wesley just intimidates the fuck out of this dude.
Yeah.
So he's just talking mad shit, laying there.
Yeah.
And then he manages to get up and threatens him. And the prince just sits in the chair like a little bitch. And
he does.
they tie him up and they don't kill him. Wesley lets him live. And
Mhm.
Inigo ends up coming into the room as well. And then they hear Fezzik calling up from outside. And he's
Yes.
like, I found these 4 white horses. And then they all jump out the window. Buttercup has this really cute slow-mo jump
Yeah.
into Fezzik's arms, and they get on their horses and they ride away. So the grandfather finishes telling the story, and the boy tells him that tomorrow night, he can read it again to him. And the grandfather responds, as you wish, and it ends there.
Aw.
So
And that
is-
line, as you wish, is the only scene that was not filmed in England / Ireland in the
Oh.
UK. Yes.
where was that filmed? It's interesting.
In Hollywood.
Oh. That's weird. Why was it?
Yeah, I don't know why that was the
Oh,
only
I guess
one.
because of the scenery. So I
Yeah, they also reshot the ending at one point because originally the ending was going to have all 4 of them on horses underneath of the little boy's window waving up at him.
Oh,
Some, like, metaphor.
I don't like that.
don't know. Yeah.
That's like the Indian in the cupboard type shit.
I never saw that.
Oh
so.
my god. Megan, come on. You watch any of the good shit?
Travis mentioned that one to me the other day, and I was like, I don't know. That doesn't seem very politically
You can't
correct.
even watch it now. It's bad.
Yeah.
It's a really bad movie. Oh god.
Yeah.
I'll just finish up my review and then you can
Please,
give any
God,
more.
hurry up so I can give the rest of my fun facts. I'm dying over here.
Got like 1 left. So I already said my scenes. Love interest. I would smash Wesley, even though he was a little iffy. He's just so in love. So
Yeah,
it's fine.
we'll allow it, I guess.
Side character, I put Inigo, and I would definitely smash.
Smash,
He
smash,
is my love.
Even with
I'm
the
in love with
mullet,
him. I'll take him as is.
Okay, first of all, his accent was like, was he really trying for Spanish? Because it was giving fake Italian.
It was. I think it felt Spanish enough.
Did it? Okay, because
yeah, 'cause
I
if
was
you
just
listen
like,
to
I
how,
felt
like-
like someone was trying to be like, it's the mozzarella. Kind of.
I mean, it's kind of similar-ish, I guess,
Is
in
it?
dialect. Yeah, I
Is
mean, if
it?
you listen to Antonio Banderas talk, it was kind of similar.
Okay, I'll have to
Antonio
listen to-
Banderas has
I'll
like
put
an
Antonio
actual
Banderas on
Spanish
once.
accent. Yeah.
Yeah.
I
And
think he
then-
did a pretty good job, and I was like, is he like actually Spanish? Because he looked like he could be Spanish, but he's not. He's Jewish, so
Okay.
Polish.
Okay.
No, not Hispanic. So
Yep. Not
he
really.
he really worked that accent as best he could.
Yeah.
So I put an 8 for how likely to fall in love with this
Mhm.
situation. I only took a few points because Wesley had that weird moment. I would have been like,
Yeah, no, that's fair.
I don't know.
I'm not. I'm agreeing with you.
I would recommend this because it's a good time,
Mhm.
and my final rating is a 4.6.
Ooh.
So it's pretty
Okay.
pretty high up there.
Pretty high.
I did not give it full 5 stars because I don't know, the romance between Wesley and Buttercup was a little weird for me sometimes. I felt like, I don't know. I know he was in love with her, but he just, some vibes were off. Some
Yeah, I
vibes were
feel
off.
like if you had watched it younger, you would have maybe
Mhm.
liked it more. But
Yeah, because like for me, my favorite parts were with Fezzik and Inigo. Like
Yeah.
they were like my favorite characters.
yeah,
And
they were
then
great.
like Wesley and Buttercup, I'm like, they're cool, but I just wasn't
Yeah.
as interested. I guess.
My favorite part of this movie is not the romance aspect of it. So
Yeah.
my favorite parts were just it was just the ridiculousness of
just
it.
the looniness. Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
and
the
there's-
romance started off really well. I was
Yeah.
like, I'm like, this farm
Yeah.
boy? Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And then, I guess he became a rugged pirate, and I'm like,
Yeah,
Not the same.
it's like disappointing, and I don't know if I was like all into it all the time back when I was younger, but
Mhm.
at least in my 2024 eyes, like there was several things that Wesley did that I was like, ugh, eh.
Yeah,
I wasn't a
but
fan of, but
it's fine. He's still
yeah.
smashable.
Yeah, there's something about the movie that brings me back to being younger and that sort of sense of humor you have where
Mhm.
it's almost a little bit not to the degree of Monty Python, but that level of
Right.
like slapstick kind of
Yeah.
dumb but funny
Right.
comedy.
It's just like parody type of comedy. Like when parody movies were really popular.
Yeah.
And they're just, I don't know, they're just still funny. Like they're stupid. They're such stupid jokes, but they just work. I miss parody movies, to be honest.
Did you ever watch the Twilight parody movie?
Dude, it's so funny. The
So-
Twilight parody movie is so funny.
My God, we should just watch it. We should watch the real one and then the
We
parody
should-
one.
I thought we should do a full marathon again, but also
Yes.
include the parody movie.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah.
I'm here for it. We'll do a special. We'll do a special episode.
I mean, it is romance and horror in one.
The amount of times that I have wanted to give you Twilight review and that I haven't because solely it just needs to be really special.
It needs to be its own episode, to be honest.
I
We
think
could
so.
do a full just Twilight
mini-series.
Yeah. We'll
I'm
just
here
both discuss it because it's both genres.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, who didn't get scared watching it? You know,
I was spooked. I was so
Yeah.
scared.
I was so worried.
I was so scared.
I was on the edge of my seat.
Listen, the beheading at the
Oh yeah, no, I know
part, that shit was crazy.
that was wild.
Yeah, so
Okay. First of all, we didn't talk about this, but I actually had to turn and look to Travis at this moment, which is at the very beginning when the mother is talking to the son. Her mullet, though. Did you not?
No.
You didn't? Oh my God, dude! I
did not
immediately.
notice.
Oh my God, dude! Do you see
stop.
it?
I did not notice that.
It's like the most mullety mullet I've ever seen in my life.
It looks like it could be a ponytail, and that's probably why I didn't fucking flinch.
Yeah.
I was like, it must be.
It's
Dude, that is
straight up
horrible.
pixie right in the front, and then just the really
It's
long.
like almost rat tail.
Yes,
That's how bad the mullet part is. Oh my god, I don't even
The
think that's a mullet. That might be a rat tail.
honestly,
really
it was
bad.
like, yeah, it's almost like what's
Holy
his
shit.
Anakin Skywalker.
Yeah, exactly. Oh my god, that's
Yeah.
awful.
So that like shook me to my core. That was
That
when I was
definitely
like,
ages the movie.
yeah, exactly. It is nothing like the modern mullet. Like people are doing mullets now, which is
Yeah.
like whatever, that's a choice. But they
Yeah.
are not like this.
No.
This is the mullet.
That honestly is probably the worst thing I've ever seen in my life. It's really bad. It's really bad. Oh my god.
Yeah, it's rough one. Okay. Here are some of my fun facts for you.
Like one of the fun facts was the mom mullet.
Well, that was just a personal one, you know. I just couldn't end this episode without talking about the mom mullet. Come
That's
on.
fair. That's fair.
So apparently during the Miracle Max scenes, so Billy Crystal, I think the majority, if not all of his lines were ad-libbed.
Okay.
Like he just kind of was going off the cuff. It was 3 days, I think 10-hour days that they did for
Oh,
his
shit.
scenes. And the director had to leave the scenes because he was laughing so hard. And Mandy Patinkin claims that the only injury he sustained the entire time filming was he bruised a rib trying to stifle his laughter during those scenes. And I think that I could be wrong, but I believe that Carrie Elwes.
Oh,
Elwes?
yeah.
Yeah. I believe
Melwich.
Elwes. We're gonna get like a cease and desist letter. Never say my name again. So apparently they had to use a dummy for his character because he couldn't stop laughing during.
Oh my god.
Oh, excuse me. I need to do a fun fact fixing.
Okay.
When I say that the priest was based on a Chicago priest, I should have said he was based on a Chicago rabbi.
Okay.
That was
Canceled.
very rude of me. Yes, I being rabbiist. I don't know. Okay, sorry, Rabbi. Liam Neeson auditioned to be Fezzik.
Are you serious?
Yes, but Rob Reiner scoffed when he heard that Neeson was only 6'4".
Is he really 6'4"?
Apparently, I didn't know he was that tall.
God. It's fucking huge.
It does bring up an interesting point because this movie had been attempted to be made for years and years. Like, tons of people tried to get this movie made. I think even, like, I could be wrong, but I think even, like, Robert Redford or something.
Okay.
Lots of people were trying to get this movie made, and Hollywood didn't want to make the movie. Like, no one in Hollywood wanted to make the movie, to the point where Rob Reiner was like, producers came up to him and they were like, we will make any movie you want to make. And he's like, you're not going to want to make the movie I'm going to want to make. And they were like, no, any movie you want to make. He's like, no, you want me to make the movie you want me to make. And they were like, any movie. And he was like, I want to do The Princess Bride. And they were like, not that.
Really?
And yes.
Wow.
And so I forget who it was who produced it, but he solo funded the movie basically. And that's how it ended up being able to get made. And so for a decade, this movie was bouncing around.
That's pretty crazy.
Yeah, and at one point, they wanted Andre the Giant, but his wrestling career was really big at the time, and so it wasn't going to happen. So they wanted to do Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Okay.
And then by the time the movie actually came to pass, which was 10 years later, they couldn't afford Arnold anymore. But Andre, their first choice, happened to be open and available. Okay. Andre is like over 500 pounds. You know, he's big
a fucking
guy.
Big dude.
He did have to be, because Travis, we were watching the movie, and at the end, Travis was like, I really hope they use a stunt double for that poor horse. And I was like, they had to, right? But they didn't. They did. He was riding the horse, but he had to be lowered onto the horse in a pulley system so as not to injure the horse. I was like, what?
How much weight can horses hold? Holy shit.
Not that much, I don't think. But it doesn't make sense because they did a stunt double for his fight scene.
They couldn't do it for the horse.
This horse who probably has back problems for the rest of his life.
Oh my god, I didn't even think about that. Yeah. Holy shit.
Mandy Patinkin says that this is his favorite role he ever played, according to IMDb. So that could be incorrect. But apparently, at least 2 to 3 times a day, people will come up to him and quote the Inigo Montoya line.
That's great.
And he said he loves he loves it. He thinks that's great. And it was a very personal character choice for him because he had recently lost his father a few years prior to cancer. And so he kind of envisioned the 6-fingered man as being the cancer that killed his father. So I thought that was a really beautiful connection for him, and I like that he enjoyed the character so much. And it's like even Billy Crystal was saying how much he loved playing his character, and everyone who talks about making this film is very positive. I didn't read anything toxic about the film environment. Apparently they would get together in the castle and Rob would start playing the guitar and they would have sing-alongs and stuff.
Oh, that's great.
And on like days when it was cold and rainy, apparently Andre would put his hand on Robin, aka Buttercup's head, to warm her. He would like use it. She said his whole hand covered her head.
Oh my god.
And it was just like a space heater to keep her warm. Just nuts. Andre the Giant said he felt like one of the family, like no one treated him different, which was really nice. However, I forget who it was. One of the actors brought his daughters on to set to meet him. And both daughters started screaming bloody murder when they saw Andre. And the guy was like, I am so sorry. And he was like really nice. He's like, it's fine, don't worry.
He's a big fucking dude.
Yeah, he is.
I can't imagine seeing someone you've never seen that big before.
Yeah, his voice is so deep too. Yeah. Like I feel like there is
it's
something...
definitely
yeah, it's a lot. And that is the end of the ones that I've written down.
Okay.
Do you have any questions that I can answer?
It was very thorough.
Oh, wait. I forgot to do the one I deep dived on. This is the only one I really deep dived on because I had to know. I was reading things about how 2 leads, so the one who played Wesley and the one who played Buttercup, they kept saying how attracted to the other one they were, and how he talks about how he saw her and like forgot everything else. He barely remembers anything else besides seeing her for the first time. She talks about how she asked to redo the kiss scene so many times. And so I was like,
Slay.
oh my God, did they date? I have to know
Yeah.
if they dated since they clearly were so into each other.
Right.
I think the 25th anniversary or whatever, they did an interview
Good.
and they never dated. They didn't realize that the other
Oh.
was into each other.
Oh no, is it Keanu Reeves and Sandra Bullock type of
Ugh.
thing?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Pain.
sad.
And it's like, what could
Painful.
have been?
I
But
know.
they're friends. I guess they still talk
Okay.
every once in a while. And I was just like,
Damn.
it's a shame.
That would hurt me.
I know.
Knowing.
I know. Afterwards, could you imagine afterwards finding out?
It's fine.
Yeah.
Whatever, I guess.
Yeah,
Maybe
it's
another
not a big
life.
deal. Not a big deal. Yeah. And that's the only deep dive I did. But anyway, that
Okay.
was my book report.
That was great. There's a
I'm-
lot of goodies and good trivia for that one.
Yeah, I'm sorry I interrupted you so many times. There was a couple times when I was like, I could interrupt right now and give a fun fact, and I was like, no, she's on a roll, and I've done too much.
I've done enough damage.
I was like, I need to wait. I interrupted enough with the trying to like jump 3 steps ahead of you. Actually, just one single step ahead of you. I'm basically reading your
Just
lines.
yeah, it's right in front. Oh my god. Okay.
This is why people don't listen to the romance episodes. So like Megan just is trying to talk the whole time.
Just let Demi talk. No. Oh, all right. Well, our next movie,
Right.
or our new thread,
Yes.
I'm having you watch The Lost Boys,
Uh-huh.
another cult classic. So we'll
You're
see.
claiming I'll enjoy, so
I'm claiming you'll enjoy. If you don't enjoy this movie, I don't know. There's no
Okay.
hope for you. It's
Oh,
a
okay.
good movie. You'll like it. There's no way you won't like Lost Boys.
Okay. Okay.
I don't know if you'll give it 5 hearts, but we'll see what happens.
Right.
don't
I
know.
mean, that's only happened once, and I'm
Yeah.
honestly not convinced it'll ever happen again.
Yeah, I mean, Lost Boys is a good time, but it's definitely a cult classic. It's a little older, so I don't know. I haven't
Yeah.
seen it in a long time, but I've seen it a lot when I was younger. So anyway, the little my personal snapshot: 2 teenage brothers and their mom move back home to her father's house, and they end up in an area that's ridden with local vampires.
Oh, shut up.
And things get more crazy when the older teenage brother Michael ends up falling in love with Star, who is part of the gang of vampires. So it's got romance. It's
Oh my
got a
God.
decent romance. So I think you'll like that. And it's just funny. It's goofy,
Okay.
and so I think you'll enjoy it.
Okay.
There's a great scene of a man playing a saxophone, and he's all oiled up.
Hell yeah, there
Yeah.
is.
I think you'll enjoy that.
Oh yeah. Wait,
Every time someone watches, they're like, "Why was this included?" You have to
please
wait
tell
until
me
you start
it's
watching
the like Bill Clinton saxophone song.
it. I wish. I mean, it would fit that for sure. But
Oh my god, amazing.
anyway, you'll see it and you'll be like, "Wow, that's beautiful."
I am ready for it.
Okay, good.
I am going to have to watch it soon. Either soon or not soon. No, I guess it's
No,
fine.
you can wait a little bit.
I don't need to watch it immediately.
enjoy your birthday
I'll wait
week.
till after my birthday party to watch the scary things. With time.
it's,
We'll see.
It's not very scary.
Okay, that's good. I love that. Thank
Yeah.
you for watching out for me on my birthday month.
I mean, how scary can vampires be, right?
I mean, well, after you've seen Twilight, I don't think they can get much scarier than that.
Yeah, no, you're already you're
Once
already
they
prepared.
sparkle, you've reached top tier, you know?
Variety.
All right, so you can find us online. We are How Do You Watch This? Or How Do You Watch? Probably should just go on Instagram
One of them.
and go to our milkshake and look at those things. There's lots for you to explore. And as we have always said, and will continue to say for probably multiple more months, we'll eventually start posting again. It would
We
be
should just
really
stop
great for
saying
us.
that.
Yeah, it would be really great for us to post like these pictures that we found.
Oh yeah.
So maybe we'll feel inspired. I don't know.
Maybe.
We really appreciate you, and we hope that you
Mhm.
start listening to the romance episodes.
This is a good one. They've been good.
They've been great. Look at you, 4.6. I mean, if it wasn't for
Yeah.
that weird moment with Wesley almost smacking
It
her,
would have been a 5.
could have gone 5. He like really just raised his hand up to her and was like, "This is a warning." And it's like, bro, what?
I almost hit her. I forgot. Oh
Yeah,
my
that
God.
was bad.
I should have
was
put a 7
when that
instead
happened.
of 8.
I was like, Demi's gonna hate this
I
movie.
forgot. Oh my
Yeah.
God. No, I guess I overlooked that enough.
Yeah,
I was like, he's just playing. He's
well,
just-
there's just so all this other like funny shit happens. So you
yeah,
you're able
it
to
really
just kinda
gets
forget.
overshadowed. It overshadows the possible abuse.
Yeah.
Oh, well,
Okay.
anyway, join us
All right.
next week.
This has been How Do You Watch This? Good night.